Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite gameplay. We're going to jump right back into For What Remains. Make sure you watch a previous video and all the other good crap to understand where we are. I'm not going to go over the basics of the game. We're going to jump right back into it. Sorry, the lighting's not perfect. I've tried to adjust it and all that good crap. I do have some new lighting coming in that will hopefully help. Okay, so we're going to continue drawing from our little bag here. Wish we had a little bit bigger bag. Kind of hard to get my big man-sized hand in here. Maybe Dan over at DVG has small, like little girly hands, or he has Sarah drawing out of the bags for him. Maybe that's what it is. You guys let me know down in the comments. Dan, do you have small hands, buddy? All right. Ooh, it is my big boy. It is the Nether. I'm going to say it right. Necromancer. And I'm going to keep this token out to the side. Remember, it is exhausted. Okay, so my boy here is activating. He is a veteran, so he has Transfer Life and Nethergate. Now with Nethergate, I get to call in a Thrall up to my weapon range. Weapon range is 7, and it gets to activate. Now, let me read that, because I don't remember if it gets to activate on the first turn. Can place a Thrall, matches the Necromancer within weapon range line of sight. But I take an injury, yep. The Thrall is placed at the same level prior to any adjustment, which is key, that keyword prior, for being injured on future turns. Okay, there we go, future turns. Whenever the Necromancer is activated, the Thrall may activate first as well. Okay, so I do get to place this veteran level Thrall, and it gets to be within 7 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can put them all the way up to there. Where do we want to go? Because, let's see, the Necromancer only has a movement of 4. The Thrall has a movement of 3. So I probably want to put him as far out as possible, because I'm going to move. Okay, before I forget, let's flip this, because I don't want to forget to take the wound. That's unfortunate, but I get an extra unit on the board for 1 wound. I'll take it. It seems like the necromancy type forces here have a lot of taking wounds or transferring wounds, or like this guy being able to heal by eating your opponents. You know, it's good stuff. I like having a little zombie character here. All right, so I can have him up to 7 away. He can move 3. And the thing is, for me to activate this guy next time, he has to be within that weapon range still. So I can't just keep activating him and have him way down here fighting while this guy stays back in cover. I have to keep him within that weapon range of me. But if I move him forward 4 as well, yeah, we'll be fine. So I'm going to put him at max range. Now, there's a couple of big guys coming in that direction. I'm trying to decide, do I send the Thrall to the right? Because they have 3 over here, and I only have 2. And I've got my 3 here, so maybe I kind of shoot the Thrall up the middle and see which way he needs to go. All right, so if that was 7, we're going to put him here instead. That way, if he needs to bust to the right, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, I could get him all the way there. So I can put him pretty much anywhere on this row of squares. I keep wanting to say hexes. Yeah, let's go here. I could even do diagonal all the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I could get him all the way to there. I think I'm gonna go that route. I'm not a very good tactician at this game, by the way. I've lost a lot of the games of it that I've played, so don't use me as the estimate of how to play this game well. This is how to play the game, not how to play it well. 2, 3, 4. Gonna move my Necromancer up. So, now that I'm thinking about it, I might move that Necromancer more to the center, because he does have a range attack, and his ranged attack is 3. So, yeah, I want to be shooting people, so I think I'm going to kind of move him more towards the center instead. So if I was 1, 3, 4, I'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, I'm going to shoot him more towards the center instead. That way, I can put fire in either direction, have the Thrall operating over here, trying to attack the enemy forces as they move up. And then these two can take on these forces while the Necromancer shoots them in this direction. At least that's my thought, my idea. No good plans ever survives combat. So now let's draw our next token. This first round probably isn't going to have a whole lot happen. Green, and we've got the Hellborn. I'm going to actually set these to the side instead of tossing them in, just in case I need to know which one activated. And they do only have one Hellborn, I believe. Yep, it's only 2 of those tremors. I think they're going to beat me. Those tremors are scaring me. Okay, it is a recruit Hellborn. I'm going to call it Hellborn. I don't think it's Hellborn. I don't think it's like that. All right. He has Toxic Burst and Camouflage. Now, we already read up on Camouflage. But let's see what Toxic Burst does for him. The Hellborn must use Toxic Burst when making a ranged combat attack. He cannot make a normal range combat attack. The attack affects all spaces within weapon range and line of sight, including the spaces adjacent to the Hellborn. If the attack covers more than one elevation, choose the effective elevation level, so you can't hit everything. The ability has no effect against mechanical and earth care. Oh, that is just horrible. He can use a Toxic Burst, and he can just use that, period. And it attacks everything in all spaces. All right, the attack affects all spaces within weapon range and line of sight, including the spaces adjacent to the Hellborn. Okay, my understanding. All right, where is his Hellborn? He is, I think it's this one. Yeah. And he has a movement of 5. Oh, okay, so his weapon range is only 2. And only 2 for the dice, so that's not too bad. The way I'm reading that, I can't tell for certain if it's this explosion around him or in a line of sight. All right, so let's move him up and I'll explain a little more what I mean. All right, so 2, 3, 4, 5. Bringing him straight up to get stuck in. Okay, so let's say his line of sight was, shooting this way. I'm not sure. Does that mean that he hits everything directly in front of him? So his weapon range is 2, bing, bing, and then both adjacent sides. Let me read this because it kind of sounds like it could be read in a couple different directions. Okay, the attack affects all spaces. Okay, so that's all spaces. So I think he's hitting 2 squares everywhere around him, within weapon range and line of sight, including the spaces adjacent to the Hellborn. And the ability, okay, so it's not going to affect Earth characters, which are them, so he doesn't hurt his own guys, but he wouldn't do any good against the Cog either, because the Cog are mechanical. Damn. Wish I was having the Cog guys. So what this sounds like is 2 spaces in each direction. So all of these, all these here, he goes like poof, and he just pops all the way around him. They have some sick abilities, man. He just goes boom. But the thing is, it wouldn't do these spaces because it blocks the line of sight and everything. So they wouldn't be affected. But say these on the right were actually open, they still wouldn't get affected because the blocking the line of sight. So he can't shoot through things. It can only be like wide open spaces. But he's a good character. Just run into the middle of a pack of enemies and go poof to take a whole bunch out. I'm gonna have to deal with him in a delicate fashion with range, probably. Ooh, okay, that's bad. And I told you, I'm taking this first round slow. I'm reading all their abilities because even though I've read them over before, I do not have them memorized. So it's going to take me a little bit to remember all their abilities. Anyway, my Abomination has a movement range of 5, and I do have the Horrid Maw ability on him. Let's see what Horrid Maw does again. Must use Horde Maw ability when making close combat attack. The Abomination cannot make a normal attack. Makes a separate close combat attack against each adjacent character, including allies. So he is a great guy to go after those tremors because he attacks everything around him. Ooh, that is good. All right, he has a movement range of 5. Remember, when it's a big character like this, you're picking one of your squares and you're counting from that. Also, if he had like ranged abilities, he could be shot or shoot from any one of his squares. When I was playing my multiplayer game, that's how Rob was able to plink out my big heavy gun, because he didn't have range to like 3 of the squares, but he could hit one of the squares. He could trace a line of sight to that, which ended up taking out my big gun and pretty much cost me the game. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm gonna come over to here. So 5. Put him right there because I want to get him kind of in the middle. This does not have enough space on the left for the tremors to go around. So they're either both going to have to cut through this little alleyway, or one's going to have to waste movement points coming up here to try to like leap over. So it could divide and conquer or whatever. But basically, I'm thinking I'm going to use my Abomination. I'm going to use my Abomination to plug this hole to slow the tremors up. So they're not going to be able to push in this direction. I've got the Misty character over here, the Wraith, that's going to be backing him up. So between these two, I think I can plug this gap and then plink away, like I said again, when I move this Necromancer up, have him go there, and then these 3 characters are covering this side. I think I got a good defense. Let's see how this works out. All right, let's draw another token, and it is the Tremor. Now, you'll remember, they have 2. The icon on it, if I can get it zoomed in, that tells you who. So this is Skull Tremor that's getting activated. That is that one. You guys can see there's a skull, and then there's the radiology or radiological symbol there. Let's see what abilities the Tremor has. Tremor at Recruit only has Stone Skin, which sounds like a pain in the ass. It's defensive. If the Tremor is injured by attack, roll 1 die. If the result is 8 through 10, oh no, that's horrible. They're going to be rolling so many 8s and 10s. I can see it already. Oh no. And they got 2 of those guys. That's going to kill me. So this guy gets to attack 2 for the price of 1, and they get to ignore damage. I got a feeling they're going to be battling each other out. Okay, so he's got a movement of 4. If I count from here, 1, he's gonna have to move through the water. They're just gonna have to do that. Okay, because if he comes around this way, let's see. If he comes around, he's not gonna be able to fit. He gets slowed down by the water here in the center as well. They probably don't want to get slowed down here, because if they get slowed down here, my Necromancer can plink away at them. So I think it's going to be better for them to go slow here rather than here. Now, I'm making that judgment call for them, but again, everything in this first turn is going to be just them moving forward anyway. So we'll go 1. If I go up and over 1, 2, and I can go again 3, 4. Okay, so that'll get him the farthest that I can get him. Perfect, that'll work. All right, making some progress. I want to get him as far as I possibly can, and the next turn he can move in this direction. Won't get held up too much more by the water. All right, let's draw. I think I only have 2 tokens left. What we got? It is one of mine. It is my Wraith. Okay, Reiki Boy, the only other veteran that I got on my team besides Necromancer. It has Incorporeal, Mist, and Terrify. So he has a lot of abilities. Let's check them real quick. All right, Terrify. The Wraith must use Terrify ability when making a ranged attack. Can't use it with normal. The target of this attack does not receive character or terrain defense. That's good. and cannot use any defensive abilities like, hey, Stone Skin. This attack does not injure the target. However, if the attack is successful, place the Terrify marker on the target. A character with that marker must spend their next active action to remove the marker and can take no other action. Character can only have one marker. Ooh, so I can slow them down. I can use my Wraith to terrify these guys and make it to where they can't do anything in return. I might just be able to do something good. All right, let's see what Incorporeal is. If the Wraith is injured by attack, roll 1 die. If the result is a 10, ignore the injury. Okay, that is good. That is really good. And missed. I think that's the move. Yeah, can withdraw from enemy characters without granting free attacks. That's great. Can move through blocking, difficult, elevated, and water terrain with no increase to the movement cost, but can't end its turn on a blocking space. So he is all kinds of badass. Oh yeah, maybe I should have had 2 of these guys. Oh, that's why at Recruit, he doesn't have the Terrify ability. He only has it at Veteran. That's good stuff. But it's 3 die, 3 range. So not too bad. I can get relatively close and start plinking away at these guys. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll just move them straight in there. Again, I love how this game uses the stacking counters to represent the health. I still think that's an excellent idea for the type of gameplay it is. Just flipping them over just like I did here to represent a single injury. Again, if I pull it off, he's down to Recruit, and it does change the level. He is a Recruit Necromancer instead of Veteran, so he loses any of those abilities at the Veteran level. So your units might still be on the board, but they're not going to be as good. All right, let's draw our next one. I've only got 1, and they've got like 5 or some shit left in there. What do they got? The Geomancer is the next guy. Let's see. Geomancer. Here we go. Time to pull through all this. And he is a Veteran. He's going to have Earth Travel, Heal, and Alter Earth. So a lot of stuff to keep track of. Like I said, the only problem when it comes to playing Solitaire is you have to keep track of all this stuff on your own. Alter Earth. Geomancer can place any combination of 2 clear, difficult, or water terrain markers in any spaces in the battlefield within weapon range and line of sight, permanently changing the type of terrain for the spaces. Geomancer can place terrain markers on the spaces occupied by characters unless the character's on elevated. Huh, interesting. Okay. Heal, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be heal. He can flip an allied Earth character's counter, including his own counter, from injured to healthy if the target is within weapon range. Ooh, damn, I was hoping that was going to be close combat. What was the other thing? He has Earth Travel. Geomancers and Hellborns can move through difficult, elevated, and water terrain with no increase to movement cost. Ew, you suck. Okay, so he has a movement of 5 as well. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll bring him up right here. Because remember, for them to win, they don't have to beat me. They just have to get 2 guys by me to this side of the board. Okay, that's it. So their goal isn't to tear me apart. It's just to get up here, engage where they have to, and slip by. And it looks like most of their guys are about the same speed as me. Their Tremors, they're not going to be the ones that are going to be able to squeak by. I just don't see that happening. I think it's probably going to be their Geomancer and the Hellborn would be good ones to go with because they've got that Earth move and they can scoot through this water or this difficult terrain and try to slip by me or maybe even block me off, whatever they're trying to do, and try to get their guys by. I think that's going to work for them. I just don't think those Tremors are going to do much for them. They got one other guy, that Ion thing over here they haven't activated. Let's draw our next counter, see what we got. And it is my last one, the Fallen. Mr. Fallen. Let me grab this and I'll show you guys his again. Okay, so Mr. Fallen here. And he is Recruit. So he's got Charge and Absorb Life. I think the Absorb Life is the one where he heals when he damages. someone, yep, when he attacks them in close combat. And charge can move and make a close combat attack. So he's actually very similar to Carnage. Actually, I think I grabbed the wrong Carnage counter. I just realized this is the veteran counter instead of the recruit counter. Doesn't matter, I'll switch it out later, but he is a recruit who's only got 1 on there. All right, so his movement is also 5. And starting him out here was dumb on the AI's part, because this is all difficult terrain. And, man, yeah, it's all difficult terrain. This is blocking terrain. I got to get him up over here somewhere. Carnage is blocking this way. I kind of think Fallen maybe over here somewhere. So I've got the Thrall, Carnage. I might have to slip Carnage more to the right to block off this side so they don't go in that direction, and maybe fill it with the Fallen. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that as it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we'll bring Fallen Boy over that way. I'm covering this pathway with these 3 guys so they can block this. Necromancer can shoot in either direction. These 2 guys are covering this direction. So I'm kind of thinking I'm leaving myself a gap here, because if they storm my Necromancer, they can take me out in the center. So I might have to draw forces back that way. But I can. We'll see how it plays out. All right, so let's draw our last couple. We know it's going to be for the Earthen. They've got so many counters to draw. Ion Core. Ion Core has Magnetic Force and Caution Blast? Cation Blast. Interesting. Okay. No, he only has that. Is he veteran? He is veteran. Yeah, he's a veteran. He's got the double stack. Oh, you suck. You suck. I did not want them to have that many. All right, so let's see what his abilities do real quick. The Blast can use that Blast or Magnetic Force when making a ranged attack. Cannot make a normal ranged attack. Place the target space of the Cation Blast template, so there's a template for it, within weapon range and line of sight. The elevation level of the target space is the affected elevation level. The Cation Blast targets all spaces of the template on the affected elevation. Add 1 die to attacks against mechanical. So he's really good against mechanical. And magnetic, again, has to use that. The target of this attack does not receive character defense bonuses, cannot use any defensive abilities. This attack does not injure the target. However, if the attack is successful, the target can be moved to any space within the Ion Core's weapon range and line of sight. That's really good for them for moving my characters out of the way to try to get by. This ability can be used by the Ion Core itself, on itself, and its allies, but a ranged combat roll is still required. If this ability forces the target to withdraw from 1 or more adjacent enemy characters, the enemy characters do not receive immediate close combat attacks. The Ion Core can move a huge character with this ability as long as the entire huge character is within weapon range and at least 1 space of the huge character is in line of sight. That is sick. He can do a lot of stuff with that crap. We're going to just move him straight forward. 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right up to there. But yeah, if his weapon range is 5, that means on his turn he could use that to yank this guy and move him forward 5 spaces. He could basically, if they were up here, throw him behind my characters just so he could run out. That is a sick ability for them to have, especially for this type of match where they're trying to run out. I got a feeling they're going to win this one in a landslide at this point. All right, so let's draw. They've got more counters left. Remember, they get a bonus. They've got 1 more character on the board, and they get a bonus. And the extra one is an Ion Core. Same one. We're going to move him ahead. Now, here's the questions. Which direction am I going? Let me think about this for a second. Okay, I got an idea that I think might work for Mr. Ion Core over here for their plan. So we're going to dip him to the right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So he's dipping around in this direction. This one's going to keep coming along, and I think I've got an idea that'll work really well for him. He can either, remember, use it on himself or one of these targets. And this is defensive terrain, so he'd have a bonus. So he could use it to either throw himself forward 5 spaces or to throw this guy forward 5 spaces and get stuck in. Now, it might require me to kind of leave someone back so they can't fling over me. It kind of causes me to change my my battle plan over here. But remember, the AI does have the disadvantage in that all of their tokens are random each turn. That does give me an advantage in the fact that there's no guarantee that they'll draw tokens for them. They could draw a bunch of tremor tokens or a bunch of these guys, stuff like that. So it's not a guaranteed plan like you would have from a actual physical opponent, but it does give you that uncertainty of, could this happen? So I like that. I think there's going to be neat to see how that plays out. All right, and they got one more, and we already know which one that's going to be. It's the last tremor that they have not activated yet. And see how far can I get this guy up. If he counts from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. That lands him in the water. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I bring him up this way, I can get him the farthest, and then he can dip back around in this direction. But that's going to cause me to have to split my forces. I can't focus in any one direction. They've got guys spread from one end of the board to the other end of the board, coming at it from all different directions. So I'm going to have to split myself off. And now this really worries me. And they've got this guy who can help with movement as well. This guy is not affected by terrain, I think, as well. And then these guys are going to be hard to damage. So I'm putting my money on the earthen right now with the abilities they have. But we'll have to see how all that plans out. All right, so real quick, let's grab their remaining tokens and throw those in there. Oh, and look at this. I thought this was Caution Blast, but it's Cation Blast. So this is the template for them, just a little X-shape template for that ability that they have. Okay, neat. Get to see how that plays out for them later. Remember, all theirs are going to be random. Mine are going to be exhausted for the next turn. So for the next round, I'm going to only have 2 for each one of my guys to activate or to throw into the bag, rather. But that's still plenty, and more than likely, I'm just going to do 1 of each because I need to be able to react. But if I do see that they end up randomly drawing a bunch for the center or a bunch on this side, then on the next round, I could throw a couple for these guys to activate more and try to have more going on in this direction. In a way, I almost have to try to guess how many the enemy's going to get for which side, because this one, it actually came out pretty good. It was pretty even across the board on which tokens that they got in there. But the next round, it might not be. It might be a bunch of this or a bunch of that. So there is that uncertainty in between the rounds, just like you would have with a physical opponent in front of you. All right, anyway, that's going to be it for this round. You guys stay tuned. Let's see how all this ends up playing out. Y'all take care. I'll catch you in the next one.